there he is. Come on, Maxey. You're a freshman. This your first game. Are you for real? Oh, man. Are you serious? Look at that swag. Mr. Calipari, you got a star. S-T-A-R.
How about Dickie V there? College hoops officially kicking off last night. Tyrese Maxey scored 26 in number 2 Kentucky's 69-62 win over number 1 Michigan State in the State Farms Classic, the most by a freshman in his debut in Kentucky history. Zion may have taken his talents to the Big Easy, but Duke still loaded in the first game. Number 4 Duke beating Kansas. Sophomore Trey Jones led Duke with 15 points and 7 assists. Duke has 4 of the top 32 freshmen from the ESPN 100 class of 2019. 3 of those freshmen, Cassius Stanley, Matthew Hurt, Vernon Carey Jr., all scored in double figures in last night's win over Kansas. Speaking of Duke, look who's here. Jay Williams in the building. Good
Very
to see
fitting,
you.
very fitting topic. Hello, Prince.
Yes, yes, yes. Max, I'm going to start with you on this one. Does Duke have a better shot at winning it all without Zion?
Yes, they do, I think, actually. And that's not to say that you take Zion off the team and they get better. Because Zion, you add Zion to this team, of course they're going to be better. But look at last year's team versus this year's team. Last year, oh my God, it's the greatest recruiting class ever in the 5 freshmen. But it was 5 freshmen. Are they going to shoot enough? No, actually, not quite. So they got knocked out in the Elite 8. You know what I see from this team? Sometimes when you lose like a transcendent Kansas? 28 against Kansas? That is some defense. Led by who with the pressure? Trey Jones, who's no longer a freshman. In fact, of the 6 players who got 25 minutes or more, basically your heavy rotation players, you have 3 freshmen, you have Trey Jones, and you have 2 juniors. And when you look at the freshmen, you got a guy in Cassius Stanley jump out the gym, and Hurt can actually shoot for a big. Like, you have elements on this team this year that address some of the issues from last year. The offense did not look great, but it showed promise. But the defense looked suffocating. Yes, I think, even though in the beginning of last year, Stephen A. and I sat on this show and said, oh my God, they might go undefeated and win the national title. But the questions about that team were answered in a way, like people are like, oh, be a little cynical, like maybe they don't have enough shooting, maybe 5 freshmen's too much, and it was. That's not the issue with this team, and they do some things better than last year's team. I think they actually might. I think they do have a better shot than last year.
Well, first of all, we understand that with Coach K, with Duke, with college basketball being what it is, one and done in March, for example, anything can happen. But to say they have a better chance, that's absolutely asinine, and yet the furthest nugget of evidence that your basketball card should be snatched. That's just ridiculous. You can't watch Duke from last night and think for 1 second that Zion Williamson, they're better off without him in terms of competing for a national title. Hell no. I will tell you this, though. First of all, I got my eyes on North Carolina. That's another reason with Cole Anthony and the crew, him being there. The brother special, Greg Anthony's son. Watch this kid. He can ball. And Jay Williams, let me take a moment to give you some props. I was watching you on Get Up this morning, and I would like to say you stole my thunder, but damn it, that ain't true, because obviously covering college basketball as greatly as you have covered it over the last few years, you know everybody in college basketball. I just get to watch them periodically until March Madness, okay? So I'm deferring to you, but you stole my thunder, because that damn Louisville team, the Louisville Cardinals, everybody better watch it. I'm telling you right now, they got a crew. We look at Kentucky with Maxey. I'm telling you right now, I have been saying that Duke, North Carolina, is the greatest rivalry in all of sports, because it's always competitive no matter what, okay? But Kentucky versus Louisville this year, oh my God. That's gonna, because I'm telling y'all right now, the Louisville Cardinals, I'm not even taking it. It's not me. You just hear me talking about it because we on First Take. Jay Williams said it earlier on Get Up. Listen to Jay Williams with this. Keep your eyes on Louisville. I'm telling y'all right now, that's special. Louisville and Kentucky, because Maxey is real. Go ahead, Jay.
That's going to be the rivalry to watch, SA. And I will say this, Max, you like stats and you like numbers. I know you're big into analytics. Who had the best PER in the history of college basketball. Who has the best PR?
Do you think I'm arguing that Zion it wouldn't make a team better?
No, I understand. I understand what your point is about chemistry, but still, like my thing is, with this team, they still are going to have struggles scoring the basketball. You never had to worry about this team scoring the ball last year. They are great defensively, but they could be hiccups with scoring the ball. We've all seen that in March Madness. So to say that this team this year will be better than the team last year who had R.J. Barrett, who had Zion Williamson, who had Cam Reddish, yeah, I thought they had some chemistry issues last year, but that talent was able to be overwhelming. They were still in a position to win it all if they didn't lose to Michigan State. So I think this team is good, but I don't think this team is anywhere close to what last year's team was.
But it seems like Coach K gets the most out of teams regardless if they have that superstar like Zion or not.
I think the challenge each year is that turnover. Like, you know, when you're at Duke, one of the beautiful things about being there is he's used to having time molding you.
Yeah.
Now guys are one and done. It's not the same. But I will say this. This team next year has a chance to be special. I don't know if you're going to have as many guys leaving. How about this? I think a bigger conversation, guys, I didn't see a top 5 draft pick at the Champions Classic. I didn't see a top 5 draft pick. When I think about top 5 draft picks, I go to James Wiseman at Memphis. I think about what Penny Hardaway's doing there. I think about Anthony Edwards at Georgia, what they're doing there. I think about LaMelo Ball. That's a topic we should be talking about. Mess around, LaMelo Ball could be the first pick taken in the draft. I think he has issues shooting, but this kid is the most polarizing prospect we have in the draft because I don't think we're going to see a lot of the blue bloods have the top draft picks like we're used to seeing. They're more dispersed throughout college basketball this year.
I thought that the offense obviously needed a lot of work from Duke.
Yes.
Still in all, I saw signs that offense can come along, particularly given it's a Coach K coach team. But the defense right out the gate was a little different. The pressure was overwhelming. And to force 28 turnovers against a team of that caliber suggests that if you get the offense together, Duke could look. The bottom line is they got to the Elite Eight last year. That was an underachievement. We get it, but they underachieved. I mean, they didn't get even to the Final Four, let alone win a national title. They underachieved. This team does not have the sense of an underachieving team to me, and part of it is more upperclassmen participation on the floor, if not leadership, and Trey Jones's experience.
I get where you're coming from in all seriousness, Max. You make valid arguments in that regard. I just think that when you look at the caliber of talent that Duke had last year compared to what they appear to have at this particular moment in time, you know, the best argument you can make for Duke is that they might not beat themselves the way some would argue last year's team may have beat it. The injury to Zion, the adjustment, Cam Reddish eating the wrong foods, not being in the kind of condition he's supposed to be in, which he came on this show and openly admitted, and I wish him nothing but the best as an Atlanta Hawk. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is you look at Kentucky, you look at Louisville, keep your eyes on that, and I am sick and tired of Jay Williams. I am sick and tired of Roy Williams at North Carolina not being appreciated for the greatness that he has put forth. It's Mike Krzyzewski that coached 3 Olympic teams in a row with all those NBA stars and definitely in a lofty position to recruit heavily and get 5-star players to come to his program every year. Roy Williams hasn't had that luxury. As a matter of fact, they've had trouble at North Carolina, academics and otherwise in terms of the school, the institution, and still this man is winning national championships. He's going to Final Fours, sometimes with names you don't even recognize until he gets his hands on them. Roy Williams is one of the great coaches and one of the most underappreciated coaches in the history of college basketball because all we talk about is Coach K when a few miles up the road, there's another coach that's been giving him some trouble.
S.A., let me say this. The reason why people talk about Coach K, look at how they brand themselves. It's an interesting thing when you think about rivalry. You see Duke, obviously, with what they did last year throughout the summer, having Zion, marketing Zion. When you talk about some of the top franchises in the world, Duke was made mention in that category. I agree with you wholeheartedly on Roy Williams. Roy Williams is one of the best coaches we have in the game. It's just interesting to see how North Carolina brands itself as opposed to how Duke goes about branding itself.
It's also tough when one guy is the greatest coach in the history of the school or the institution, maybe of college basketball, and the other guy has a Dean Smith in his not that distant past to contend with. That's a big shadow.
That's a good point, Max.
Fair point.
But you mentioned a
good
lot of
point,
the top
Max.
guys spread outside the country, and keep an eye on Louisville.
Yes.
We got that. Jay, we'll see you on NBA Countdown on Friday. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Coming up on First Take, wait until you hear what Chargers owner Dean Spanos had to say about his team possibly leaving LA on the move again. What? And LSU heads to Tuscaloosa this weekend. Paul Feinbaum will be back to fire up the LSU Bama fans. Don't touch that dial.
Don't show up, don't come